Today on Bully Talk with Zeb Pits, we have Mr. Ron Ramos, judge for the ABKC. How are you today, sir?
How's it going, guys? Good to talk to my bully people.
For those that don't know, we're going to recap a little bit, go back in time a little bit. How long have you been dealing with the American Bully?
You know, I was there pretty much in the inception, right around 2004 when I first came in and started judging for the ABKC. And it's been quite an experience, to say the least.
How did it come about for you to become a judge with the ABKC?
You know, the way it actually all started was that there was the old MSN boards, and there was a lot of people that were pretty much bashing the American Bully community and all that. So I felt that somebody needed to take a proactive stance, and so that's when I came into the ABKC, and I actually asked, could I judge for you guys and help you guys out? And pretty much that's the inception. I started helping and judging, and it's come a long way since then, as everybody can see. And yet we got a long ways to go, But I mean, it's I would say right now the ABKC is probably the premier registry for American boulders, and that's not taken away from the other registries because everybody goes through growing pains to make this happen correctly.
Now, what are some of the changes you've seen over the years as far as in the show ring when it came in the early stages of the making of the ABKC when you were judging, as compared to what you see now in the ring?
When I first came into the ABKC, it was basically males and females, and that was it. There was no classes, there was no ages. It was one of those things where it was very, very unorganized. It was more of barbecues than being real shows, and anytime you start getting competition, it changes the whole aspect, and everybody wants to get better at it and more fun at it. So that's where I came in, and I started working with breaking it down to classes. Not only myself, but there was other people involved with other than myself. The other people that were show people, and that's pretty much how it developed. And as you can see today, there's people that we got professional handlers. We would have thought that in the beginning we would have professional handlers. You know what I'm saying? But even the professional handlers today in the ABKC need polishing. It's a long ways from being like, for example, the AKC, which is, I would like to say it along the lines of like the major leagues versus the minor leagues. So it's come a long, long ways, and there's a long ways to go as far as polishing it and getting it where it's supposed to be. I know people get really tired of hearing that it's a young registry, but if you look at, example, the UKC is probably 120 plus years old versus 12 years, whatever we're here right now. So we got a long ways to go.
What are some of the things you would like to see people work on in the ring?
Today I was really kind of surprised today how many people that were in the ring that honestly were not prepared. Very little handling experience, dogs weren't prepared. And I was hoping by this time that people would take more responsibility of their show dogs and ownership and work on their skills. Back in the early days, I would do a little speech before I got in the ring, and I would tell people, 5 minutes a day, every other day would be a huge accomplishment, and it worked for a while. And maybe I need to go back to sending that message out to the people that, just little work goes a long ways. For as long as it takes you to drink a glass of tea or smoke a cigarette, you could do that training. It's less time. And you would be surprised the accomplishments and the polishing you do with your dog.
Knowing there are so many videos out that can help people as far as the show ring, do you find that frustrating as a judge at times that people aren't really prepared as they come into the ring?
It's part of the thing is, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but it's part of the demographics of the people we deal with in the ABKC. We're altogether different people. In the original thing, the whole ideal of the pit bull was actually the poor man's dog. And nowadays the dogs are very expensive, but still a lot of people that are buying dogs that don't have that kind of finances because that's that expensive. Part of the problem is that I think we're in a society, and I don't mean this, like I said, I don't want to sound like I'm an old grumpy old guy, but we have a tendency to think that we're all entitled and that we should just go in there and do this without any kind of effort. and that's the furthest thing from the truth. You know, anytime you see a pro athlete or a boxer or whatever, maybe those guys put many years of effort and time into this. You wouldn't send your kid to play baseball without never teaching them how to pick up a mitt and catch it a few times, because you're putting them in jeopardy. Ball may hit them and hurt them. Well, the same thing applies in a dog show ring. You know, if you go in there with a dog and yourself not being prepared, you're going to have an accident of a dog biting another dog, or possibly biting another person. So put a little effort into it. You know, it's not asking a lot of you. Very small amount of time, and it goes a long ways.
I'm gonna kind of go back a little bit on you. Going back to a video that went viral, you teaching people stacking 101. Did you ever expect that video to go viral the way it did?
You know, I'm glad you brought that up, because that was Israel Vargas, and we did that in a park line. It was dark, and you can see the video, but I never thought it was going to have the effect on it. And for people to come up to me and tell me, you know, God, I seen your video, I can't thank you enough. It's a huge compliment. You know, it humbles me, and I really need to get out there and make another one. But the thing is, it's just time is pressing. We all got things to do, and I feel obligated that I got to do one more out there and put another out there. But as far as the effect, I never thought it was going to have that kind of effect on people. You know, again, you know, it makes me feel great when somebody comes and tells me, you know, Ron, I watched that video 10 times, 100 times, so I can get my skills down. And I look at that video and I'm like, man, it's kind of crude, you know what I'm saying? But then again, if it helps, then, you know, that's what it's all about.
Right now, in this present time, you have a YouTube channel.
I do.
Where you're giving advice on different topics as far as the bullies. What was the inspiration behind that?
You know, the inspiration behind that was my son. You know, one of my sons, you know, Dad, you know, everybody always asks you questions, and they're always asking you, how do you do this? How do you handle? How do you care? How do you feed? And you know, and he inspired it. He was the whole one behind it. You know, saying he said, let's do some videos, Dad. So I started doing the videos, and as you can see, they're crude, man. I mean, I haven't had no help other than me and my son, and we have no clue how to do the YouTube or that. But you know, and it's all done with cell phone. So I wish I could get a little more traffic, but hey, it's going to happen with time. And I wish I could put them out faster. But we try to make it a topic that is really worthy of merit for you to really help people with some serious problems. You know, I travel the world and seen a lot of problems, especially like with skin issues in countries like Puerto Rico and anything that's very humid and tropic. And there's a lot of code issues, and I try to help them with those videos. You know, and God willing, they'll pick up and people will see what they're really about. The only intent again was just to help. I mean, I really enjoy teaching and helping. Again, if it wasn't for my oldest son, those videos wouldn't be about. You know, and part of it was Israel Vargas with his, and I never thought about going back. And there was always people asking, "Will you do more videos?" And I just never got around to it. And then when my son started telling me to do it, then I said, "Oh, then why should I want to do a little helpful videos?" So we'll see how it goes. You know.
Let me ask you, how did you get involved with the TSC Lab experience? Because you do the tips of the day on there.
You know, that was FW invited me over to do that, and I was in a show and I felt it pretty good. You know, there's a lot of radio shows and there's a lot of rants and all that other stuff. But, you know, what I seen here is it was more fun, positive. You know, a lot of shout out. People like to hear their name on videos and stuff like that. So, you know, he's got the right idea, the right attitude. You know, and there's no boundaries. It's just people with a passion of the bully, and they want to share that passion. So again, reaching out and helping, you know, I really love doing that, and the opportunity to talk to people and let them give them some insight. I really enjoy it. But a lot of that stuff you can find on the YouTube channel, you know what I'm saying? But it's just a fun experience. I'm a social flower. What can I tell you, man? I like talking to people. I love people.
Now, let me ask you, because I was trying to do the research on it, but I think I'm right. I'm not sure, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. Was the 2010 Nationals the first Nationals that you judged?
It was the first National I believe it was for the ABKC. I think the winner was KAMLI, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
You know, and that was the first Nationals, you know. And to say the least, I'm telling you, it was unbelievable for being their first true National. It was held, I want to say, in a forum, I think it was in Los Angeles. And I'm telling you, there was absolutely zero room. I mean, it was literally shoulder to shoulder. It was an experience that I'll never forget. At that particular show, I remember my wife was there and she asked me if I'd seen all the police. And I never knew because it was like a balcony foyer all around the building. And it was full of basically a riot squad from the LAPD. And they were astonished and amazed to see so many gang infractions all there in peace and all colors put aside, and they're just for the passion of the American bully. So to see something like that in an environment like that, it's really, it's mind-blowing, literally, because I don't think I would have ever thought I'd see different affiliations and gangs come together and not one incident happened, zero. And they were there just for the passion of the dog. So my hat is off to those guys in that community that they're willing to set their differences aside for a passion as awesome as the dogs.
In your recollection of that day, what made King KAMLI the ultimate dog that day?
You know, King KAMLI was an exceptional dog, and he still is today an exceptional dog. He's one of those dogs that I think he'll stand the test of time. You know, a lot of people don't realize that I think in today's American Bully, we're losing some of the substance and size. And there's an argument on both sides, and there's a lot of purists out there, and I think they don't understand, they don't realize how it was the inception of the American Bully. And it's kind of an inner battle within the ABKC. But these dogs were all big dogs. I mean, King KAMLI, you know, people don't realize, you know, he was, I don't know the exact weight, but I'm telling you right now, he had to be 85 plus pounds. Okay? He was not a little animal. And what part of that is people have it's almost like an optical illusion. The more clean and correct an animal is, the more classic he looks, and it's far from it. You know, people are thinking that bully is bulldogish, and that is not the truth. Yeah, there are going to be some traits in there. Some of them you may have, but they're not the dogs that people think they are. A lot of people, I think, right now in today's bully society are confused. And a lot of people say, well, the exotics and the ABKC, there's no affiliation. And like I said, I'm not trying to bash exotics, but I think there's some beautiful exotics. I'm more an advocate of not having unhealthy dogs versus healthy dogs. So I have admiration for all animals. I've had them all, from game dog to bully to exotic to you name it, I've had them. And it's not so much, you know, creating division, because that's what it's doing, and it shouldn't be that. We should all help each other as far as the dogs are concerned. It should be more of anti-bad health dogs, you know what I'm saying? So King was pretty exceptional. You know, you can't take away from the animal. He played a big role with the many other dogs at that time. And some dogs that people don't realize were pretty extreme.
Okay, we're back. The next question I had, just talking about that Nationals with so many people that you saw. Compare that to what you see today. Does that concern you that you see less and less crowds at the show?
You know, in a way it does concern me. I think what's happening is that the people are losing that zest for the animal and for the dog stuff. And I think they have a tendency to forget that this has been for fun, you know, and when you need, but what happens anytime you put competition, it becomes kind of sour sometimes. I hate to say that, you know, but the thing is that they need to understand that this is all for fun. It's a good time, you know. I don't know what's happening to the community. I do see the numbers dropping a little bit, like I said, the Nationals and that, and it hasn't changed, to be honest. I mean, if anything has changed, we've become more educated. You know, the judges have been, the demands upon the judges from the community have made us become better at what we do. To say that we're all good is it'd be silly. You know, I'm not gonna stick that assumption, or to say there's no politics. I won't do that. I mean, that's being ignorant. But I'm hoping that the community is maturing enough and growing enough so that we can come back and make this thing what it was. You know, because it is a great way to get together, and it's a good way to show the rest of the world that we can get along with each other, you know, and we can have a great time doing it. So I am concerned. Versus the first Nationals compared to the Nationals last year, it's dropped off. But I also think it's like any good business, location. So hopefully we'll get a better location where more people can attend.
Let me ask you, because just talking among different people, do you think one of the major problems because of the attendance would be because of the oversaturation of registries right now for the American Bully?
You know, I think it plays some effect, but I don't think it's that big of an effect as people think it is. Okay. Yeah, you know, I think there's enough room for everybody, but I think what really happens is people will get feelings hurt, and you shouldn't do that. You got to win some, you got to lose some. You know, I mean, if it was just everybody winning, then there would be no point in having a competition, and you can't enjoy winning unless you lose. That's part of the game. I mean, that's the way it is. The other thing I think what happened is I think it became a big thing of finances, money and stuff. You know, I have a dog, and I'm afraid that, you know, if I go and I lose a show, I'm going to lose my stud fees or value of my puppies, and that's further thing from the truth, and it's silly. You know, that's a silly way to think. You can still have a bully dog. I think there's a lot of exceptional extreme bully dogs out there that are not going to show rings just for the fact that they're afraid of getting there and lose, and they shouldn't be. If you really think about it, this is free advertisement for your dog, just for the world to see. If your dog comes out in a video or in a show ring or something, you know, you can't get the same effect in your backyard. You know, so I think they're missing out on a true opportunity to really show, you know, beautiful dogs to the world and to the public. You know, I'm the judge, and it's very difficult for me to have dogs, but I still bring dogs because I want people to see I'm proud of the fact of what I got in my backyard. So, you know, don't let that be a deciding factor from not attending shows. You know, that's a heartache. That's a real heartbreak, because we want to see your dogs. I'm the first guy that I can't wait to get the show to see what's out there. I may want to see a dog that I want to use for a stud. You know, he might not be in the ring, but I walk around and look at dogs, and I get to see these dogs. So, if anything, you're hurting yourself by not attending shows or coming out and enjoying it. You know, and it's a family atmosphere. Believe it or not. I mean, so it's a lot of fun. Like today, we had a great junior handler class. So don't step away for the wrong reasons, you know, because it's a great time. And, there are a lot of other vices that are worse than being at a dog show. So it's a good environment.
Speaking of junior handlers, what's your thoughts on Destiny Myers?
You know, I got to give the lady a lot of praise. I think it's changed her as a human being, personality. She's gained her so much confidence. Stuff. You know, this is a competition where it's a matter of just polishing your skills, and you don't have to be a real physical type person to do this. You know, you can get in there and you can have a great time at this, and any kid can get involved. You know, you can bring. I remember back in the early days where there was a young girl that came up and handled, and she actually had Down syndrome. And when she came to the show ring, her parents were just ecstatic that her personality and her confidence started to accelerate. You know what I'm saying? So it's a great opportunity for kids to get out and have a good time. I mean, you don't have to have any kind of special strength or, you know, big person, little person. It's everybody's sport. Everybody can have a good time with the dog. It's a matter of matching the dog with a child. Make sure that you get a dog that can be controlled by the child. But it's a great thing for kids to bring, you know, to gain confidence, learn how to be sociable with all the different people of the world. You know, at the shows there's everybody, Asian, Hispanics, you know, white people, black people. We're all here, and it's a good way to teach the kids to be sociable with each other and interact. So there's a lot of good stuff that comes from the shows.
You get a chance to travel the world seeing dogs. How is the show scene overseas compared to the U.S. right now?
You know, there's
Do you see a lot of enthusiasm with the people?
I do. You know, you'd be surprised. I've been blessed that I've hit probably all the major continents, and I've seen a lot of countries, and I've been in a lot of third world countries, and the enthusiasm is unbelievable. It's the same enthusiasm that we had here when we started. The thirst for knowledge is unreal. They want seminars. They want to ask questions, and you know. And you can't help but to give in to these people. And yeah, there's a communication gap at times, but you know something, we make it work. Mexico is an unbelievable place to be when you see the shows, because it's basically an untapped resource. I mean, the people are just passionate about the dogs, and there's a lot of dogs, and they have every variety under the sun. They still have a lot of the old game dogs, but they're not fighting them. They're doing a lot of the agility and pit bull kind of events. The bully community is new. Same thing with South America. There's a great passion. I've been to small islands like Guam, Trinidad, Jamaica, and Nicaragua, Colombia. These people really love their animals, and they take it very seriously. There's been a lot of people spilling over into the exotics, and that's fine. Like I said, I don't have a problem, but the thing is, just keep them healthy. I've seen some places where they go too extreme, and then we have very unhealthy dogs. And I don't think they realize the repercussions, because once that gets into the community, some of those problems and defects are very difficult to weed out. And then we have to end up doing what everybody doesn't want to do. You can start calling dogs, and nobody wants to do that. You know what I'm saying? So I think we have to be very wise on what we send those people and what we promote. A lot of it is our fault, because that's what we send. So let's not do something where we're going to go back hundreds of years, because it's very difficult to get some of the problems out.
What's your thoughts? I don't know if you really heard about it, but I'm going to ask you if you heard anything about it. What's your thoughts on China buying a lot of dogs here, the American bullies?
It happens with every country. I remember when it was Thailand. Thailand went crazy, and they bought a lot of beautiful dogs, and then they ended up bleeding over, and a lot of the exotics started going over there. And like I said, I'm not trying to talk down exotics by no means. I'm just saying I'm pro healthy dogs. I've seen little tiny exotics that were very healthy, very mobile dogs and stuff. I'm just against dogs that are crippled. And so I got to give China some accolades. I mean, they're getting some dogs, but they're getting some really nice quality dogs. I just think that it's up to us to guide them and make sure that we don't infest them with problems. Because
I guess my question is, does it surprise you the amount of money that you hear?
Something that does surprise me, because they're pushing some big dollars. But like I said, Thailand did it, but it was not nearly the amount of dollars they're saying. And the other thing is, who knows how much truth there is. And I'm sure there are some that are very truthful in the money they're getting. I just think we have to proceed with caution, that we don't do the wrong things. We don't want to sell somebody a dog at that kind of high dollar and ruining generations of breedings in that country. So I think we have to be a responsible mentor to other countries.
I really appreciate your time today here on Bully Talk with Zeb Pits, Mr. Ramos.
Zeb, I got to give you some accolades, man. I watch your videos, and you do a great job, man. I got to see some great stuff from you. You capture great moments for people talking about their passion of their dogs, emotional moments, and just generally good stuff all around. Even some of your other videos, I'm very impressed with. Thank you very much for being part of our community, and I appreciate what you do for us. Take care, and God bless.
Thank you.